What's up, Lions Nation? You're tuned into Lions News Fan Report, your home for breaking news, insider updates, and all the rumors surrounding our beloved Detroit Lions. Today, I've got something brewing that could completely reshape how we think about this team's championship window. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for every single second of this because the implications are massive for our playoff push. So, here's the situation we're dealing with right now. The Lions just took a gut punch in Week 9 against the Vikings when guard Christian Mahogany went down with a broken ankle. Coach Dan Campbell didn't sugarcoat it on Monday. He said Mahogany will be out for a long time, and that's a devastating blow to an offensive line that's already been dealing with some regression this season compared to the absolute dominance we saw the past 2 years. This unit has been the backbone of everything we do offensively, protecting our quarterback, opening lanes for our running game. And when you lose a piece like Mahogany, it creates a ripple effect that can derail an entire season if you're not careful about how you respond. Now, the front office did make a move to address the immediate depth concern by signing rookie guard Jack Conley to the practice squad right before the deadline hit. That's a smart procedural move, gives us some insurance, and it signals that we're likely going to see either Tristan Cullen or Kingsley Aguakan slide into that starting role ahead of Week 10 when we face Washington. But here's where things get really interesting, and this is where I need you to pay close attention, because this could be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit in January. The Cleveland Browns have been in complete disarray this season, sitting at the bottom of the AFC North with no realistic path to contention. And when teams find themselves in that position, they start listening to offers on veteran players with significant contracts. Two names that have been circulating heavily in league circles are guards Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both multiple-time Pro Bowlers, both absolute maulers in the trenches, and both exactly the type of elite talent that could stabilize our offensive line immediately. Bitonio has been one of the most consistent guards in the entire NFL for years, a technician who excels in both pass protection and run blocking, while Teller brings that raw power and physicality that can completely change the identity of a running game. Here's what makes this so compelling for us as Lions fans. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have never been shy about making aggressive moves when they see an opportunity to upgrade the roster. Just last year, we traded for Zadarius Smith at the deadline, a move that paid immediate dividends for our pass rush and showed the entire league that Detroit is serious about competing for championships right now. Campbell's entire philosophy is built on aggression, whether it's going for it on fourth down, calling trick plays in crucial moments, or attacking defenses with our physical running game. That mentality has transformed this franchise from perpetual underdogs into legitimate Super Bowl contenders, and it's why we all believe in what's happening here. But the trade deadline came and went on Tuesday, and the Lions didn't pull the trigger on either Bitonio or Teller. No splashy moves, no reinforcements for the offensive line, just internal options and hoping that our depth can hold up through the most critical stretch of the season. Now, I'm not here to panic or overreact, but I do think it's worth examining what could have been and what might still be possible moving forward, because the chess match doesn't end just because the trade deadline passed. Let's talk about what adding Joel Bitonio would mean for this offense. You're bringing in a veteran who has played at an elite level for over a decade, someone who understands every nuance of pass protection schemes, who can handle the most dangerous interior pass rushers in the league, and who would immediately become one of the best guards in our division. Plug him in next to Frank Ragnow, and suddenly you've got one of the most formidable interior offensive line combinations in the entire NFL. The continuity and communication between those two would be seamless, because both are cerebral players who study film religiously and understand how to work in tandem. For Jared Goff, that means more time in the pocket, cleaner throwing lanes, and the confidence to go through his progressions without feeling constant pressure up the middle. Wyatt Teller brings a different dimension, but equally valuable. This guy is a mauler, Someone who thrives in gap schemes and can create massive running lanes when you need to impose your will on a defense. Think about what that would do for David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. We already have one of the most explosive backfield duos in football, but pair them with an offensive line that includes Teller, and you're talking about a ground game that could legitimately dominate playoff defenses in January. The physical toll that would take on opposing defenses over 4 quarters is exactly the kind of advantage you need when games slow down in the postseason and it becomes about who can execute in the trenches. Now, I know some of you are thinking, why didn't we make this move at the deadline? That's the million-dollar question, and there are a few potential explanations. First, the asking price from Cleveland might have been too steep. The Browns know what they have in these 2 players, and if they're going to part with Pro Bowl talent, they're going to demand significant draft capital in return. Holmes has done an incredible job building this roster through the draft, and giving up multiple high picks for rental players, even elite ones, might not align with the long-term vision. Second, there's the salary cap implications. Both Bitonio and Teller carry substantial contracts, and fitting those into our current cap structure while maintaining flexibility for future moves isn't easy. Third, and this is important, the front office might genuinely believe that our internal options can get the job done. Colin and Iguacan have been developing in this system, they understand the scheme, and sometimes continuity and familiarity can outweigh raw talent, especially when you're talking about offensive line play where chemistry and communication are paramount. But here's where the speculation gets really interesting, and this is purely my analysis based on how this organization operates. Just because the trade deadline passed doesn't mean the conversation is over. If Cleveland decides to release either of these players, or if they become available through other means in the coming weeks, you can bet Brad Holmes will be one of the first GMs on the phone. We've seen teams make mid-season roster adjustments outside of the traditional trade deadline window, and if an opportunity presents itself to upgrade without sacrificing significant draft capital, I absolutely believe Detroit would pounce on it. Campbell's aggressive mentality doesn't just disappear because a calendar date passed, and this front office has shown time and time again that they're willing to be creative in how they build this roster. Let's also consider the broader context of where this team is right now. We're 5-3 after a tough loss to Minnesota at home, sitting in a competitive NFC North where every single game matters. The Vikings are playing at an extremely high level. Green Bay still has Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things. And Chicago is building something interesting with their young core. This division is going to come down to the wire. And the team that can stay healthiest and make the smartest roster decisions down the stretch will be the one hoisting the division title in January. Adding someone like Bitonio or Teller wouldn't just be about this season either. It would be a statement move that tells the entire locker room that management is all in on winning right now, that no stone will be left unturned in the pursuit of a championship. I'm staying optimistic about this situation because I trust the process that Holmes and Campbell have built here. They've earned that trust through consistent success, smart decision-making, and a clear vision for what this team can become. If they felt like making a move for Bitonio or Teller was essential, they would have done it. The fact that they didn't suggests they have confidence in the players already in this building, and I'm going to roll with that until proven otherwise. Colin has shown flashes of real potential. Iguacan brings physicality and toughness, and sometimes young players step up in these moments and become the story of the season. That said, I'm also realistic about the challenges ahead. We're facing Washington in Week 10, and while they'll be without Jaden Daniels due to his dislocated elbow, this is still a dangerous team that plays hard and has talent across the roster. We're 8.5-point favorites, which tells you what Vegas thinks about this matchup, but we all know that means nothing once the ball is kicked off. Every game from here on out is critical, every snap matters, and the margin for error gets smaller as we push deeper into the season. So here's what I want to know from all of you watching this right now. Do you think the Lions should have made a move for Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller at the deadline? Are you confident in our internal options to hold down the offensive line through the rest of the season? And if either of these Browns guards becomes available in the coming weeks, would you want Brad Holmes to make that call? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to hear how Lions Nation feels about this situation. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Here at Lions News Fan Report, we're bringing you the latest news, the deepest analysis, and all the insider information you need to stay connected with your team. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, share this video with your fellow Lions fans, and let's keep building this community together. One pride, always. Let's go get this win against Washington and keep pushing toward that division title.